I work really hard to make that the case. Like if I have something that's behind on one side versus the other, I go back and train that one more to catch them up.
But I think one of the things that speaks volumes to your training system and repertoire is the fact that you can, of anyone I know on the planet besides Jeremy Marinas, you can execute combinations of high-level skills on both sides, and it's almost impossible for someone to determine what is your quote-unquote bad side, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, thank you. I work really hard to make that the case. Like if I have something that's behind on one side versus the other, I go back and train that one more to catch them up. It's by no means a natural ability. I've had people say like, oh, you just naturally learned that, huh? And I'm like, oh, it's the exact opposite of that. It's like a compulsive drive to make things line up. And for me, it's been an opportunity to really reach a high level of mastery, to relearn the same skill. Like, okay, I got it, but did I really got it? Go back and do it again. Okay, I've got it twice, but did I really get it twice? Go back and do it again. So yeah, this is like more so a really good use of obsessive compulsion toward something positive, I guess you could say, is just building my whole tricking repertoire that way.
No, I totally get it. I mean, I almost feel stupid every time I stop and think about it, because I'm like, at a root level, if you're starting to learn a trick and you're breaking down the fundamentals, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to learn it on both sides unless you have some physical imbalances, which again is your own personal fault. So it's like, unless you have one leg that's extremely stronger than the other one, which is bad, you should be able at the root of it to be able to break down a trick and learn it both directions.
Yeah, I would say it ended up being an advantage to me that I started off not knowing there were sides. Like I was just watching Cal Menchoka spinning on the right. I'm like, I'm going to try his move. And I'm watching Steve Tirada spinning on the left. I'm like, I'm going to try his move. And then I'm like, how come I can't combo? And so that ended up being like a really big advantage in disguise, because it made my pace so much slower. I had to learn everything twice. I didn't know what side it was. So it was a big opportunity to grow my understanding of the techniques rather than just, okay, I got it. Next one, 2 spins. I got it. Next one, 3 spins. It just really made it harder for me to learn, which made it easier for me to teach.
And you kind of just touched on it right now that like you started by just doing both sides, which I was going to ask like which one you started first. You kind of started equally. But just to just put it out there finally for the people, is there a side that you feel more comfortable at, even if it's like a 0.1% more comfortable?
No, there isn't. Twisting is dead even for me, but I will say this. There's a good leg. So a minute ago, when you're like, if you have a weaker leg, I would say I do. And I do train to kind of improve that a little bit. But because I'm right-handed, I'm generally also right-legged. Like even something as simple as, and you can try this at home, whoever's listening, like if you start to pay attention when you're in the grocery store in line, you'll probably be standing with your weight more on one leg more often, more of the time. So just in terms of how your coordination develops, you'll tend to prefer a side with your leg, just like you do with your arm. So for me, I'm right-legged, which means exactly 50% of my tricks are easier on the right. Anything that jumps off the right. So like cork and B-twist on the right. And then if I'm spinning left, but also jumping off the right, then that's the better side. So like wrap stuff, race stuff. So I don't have a better side, I have a better leg. And that makes it about 50-50.
That is insane, man. Insane. And now I know this, and I'll probably throw some videos on the screen right now, but for everyone out there that may not be familiar with you, and I don't want to say like, what's the hardest trick, but what are like the highest level skill that you're able to execute on both sides? I know personally, I've seen videos of you doing outside on grass, double B twist, double cork, double full both sides. And then on tramp, I know you've gone beyond that too, right?
Yeah, so I would say that my ability to pull off higher tier tricks is directly proportionate to the amount of jump force I have at the moment. So like if you give me a trampoline, everything ramps up proportionately. On tramps, I can do triple pretty much everything. On floors, spring floor grass, it drops down to doubles. I'm kind of limited there. In the past, I have pulled off triple full on the floor, but I would say that was like I landed it. In fact, I don't know that I've ever crashed a triple full on the floor, but that's when I can tell the difference. I know that from the first one to the last one I did, which all was like within the span of a few months in 2000, maybe 9, 10, I didn't ever throw one that I remember falling down on, but I knew every single time that I might fall down. Actually, I can think of one that I fell in a battle with a niece. I tried to do a triple in a battle against a niece one time. First of all, why would I be battling a niece? Anyone's guess. That doesn't make sense on paper or elsewhere, but that one I fell. Otherwise, I knew every single time I threw it that it was a rolling the dice, so I stopped throwing it. And to this day, I'm like, if I train that skill, I'm going to rebuild it the way that I do normally, which is what I do on tramp with it. But yeah, as far as high tier stuff, 3 spins is the top off. I've never done a quad anything. And I would say that hardest skill also has to do with complexity. So like recently I did a shuriken box cutter both sides on the tramp. And that was something that took me a minute to build, just in terms of like making sure it had all the right components to look right and not look like something else or not go horizontal enough or any of those things. So that may not be an overall hard trick in terms of rotation, but that was hard for me to piece together correctly on both sides.
That's pretty wild. I didn't see that one. And I mean, I would say what, 2018, 2019 were the years of the shuriken box cutter. So it's like, it is a pretty high level move. Almost everyone and their mom was trying to end combos with that or do the turbo hyper landing of it. You know what I'm saying?
Now I'm going to kick behind. It's supposed to have 3 now, but 2 is pretty good. I'm happy with.
To step your game up and move to Japan, Dan.
Totally. Yeah. I'm not as extreme as maybe I once was when I was younger, but yeah, that's essentially where it goes. It's like I try to find things that are popular or things that are challenging to me personally. I don't count it. It's like even in a session, if I do something normally where you'd celebrate, I'm like, doesn't count. And then I'll go back and do the other side and build it up. And it's like when it gets close, however they're still even, I'm like, that counts. So then it's like if I get all the way to the end, I'm like, now I'll hit record. Now I'll hit record and go film it.